Well, somebody crashed through a freeway wall in southern Arizona today, but it's only a Saturn. No great loss. Volkswagen is sending us a 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SEL. Now these start around $35,000, but the SEL Sport is loaded up with everything. And I mean just about everything. I'll scroll down if you want to put it on pause and read it, be my guest. And it's a pretty penny, but at least there are no options. Everything's standard the way I like it. Now this $155 for a cargo mat or $100 for wheel lugs, you know how these things go. And with shipping, total damage. Alright, so here's the Volkswagen in person. I think it's a nice looking vehicle. I like this color too. And one of the first things I want to do when I get a vehicle, check to see what brand of tires they are. It says Nexon, never heard of them. Don't know what to tell you about that. The second thing I want to do is check and see if there's a spare tire, and yes there is. And look at all the room we have under here. Good place to store things. And the third thing we do is take the headlights out in the dark and do a night drive, see how they perform. And we already did a video on that separately on YouTube. If you missed it, we'll have a link for this video at the end. You won't miss anything. There's a lot I like about this vehicle, but there's some things I don't like, and I'm going to cover that right now because the first day I had this, I hadn't driven it. I jumped in with a 3 o'clock appointment. It's like 116 degrees outside, 180 degrees in the cabin on the inside. So the first thing I was looking for was the air conditioning. You think it'd be simple, right? Just get in, start the car, turn the air conditioning on. No, no, no. Not with this new redesigned 24 model. Not like the 23s, but they had lots of nice simple knobs. So the first 5 minutes I'm in the vehicle, it's extremely hot in here. It's hot outside, so the first thing I'm going to do is find the air conditioning. And that wasn't a problem as far as the temperature goes right here. I simply knocked the 72 degrees down to 62. But where is the fan speed control? There's no air coming out. I'm looking everywhere, pushing this button, that's not it, this button, that's not it, this button, that's not it. Finally, I push this button. I get the climate control, but where's the fan speed? Not there. Press another button, have the climate control, where's the fan speed? Not there. I'm roasting, I'm melting. Finally, the fan speed menu comes up, and I'm able to turn it to a higher speed. I'm thinking this is an awful lot of stuff to go through to simply adjust fan speed. Come on. Wouldn't something like knobs be simpler, like in the older Atlas? Alright, at the moment you can see the temperature control, cold and hot, because I have the cabin light on, as well as the volume control here. But turn the light off. Now you can't see squat, so you're driving, you want to turn the temperature up or down, you can't see the control. Likewise, you want the volume for the radio up and down, you can't see the control. This doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. And like I said in my other nighttime video, this is very unusual, and I just can't figure out how this ever got into production without somebody noticing, but these things happen sometimes. And if you're looking for the window defrosters, where do they put it? Right down here by the headlight controls. Oh, those Germans are so clever. Why would you want it down there? No wonder every time I turn on my headlights, I get a fan speed coming out through the vents. Now I could demonstrate the radio programming, the navigation, and other settings, but I'll be here all day. Let's just say just about everything is in the system. Hardly any knobs, and, well, it takes a learning curve, that's for sure. Very strange setup. Now let's go to a second area. This is the start the engine, stop it. Very conveniently located, I like that. Here's the shifter. Very easy to reach and operate. The parking brake. The good news is, yes, I do like this in concept. However, on the negative side, they put all this stuff down in a little canal with a couple deep holes as well. So you know what could possibly happen. Of course, your drink spills, get all this liquid going down these holes and slots, and it's never ever going to come out. Plus the possibility of shorting something out. You can see the openings here, the openings here, the openings down in here. Now if they'd simply raise this a little bit and put some protective boots around the controls, like some European manufacturers do, wouldn't be an issue, but this is a very strange setup that has potential for disaster. I don't put drinks in cup holders that often, so I don't have to worry. If you do, be very, very careful. Just out of curiosity, I went on YouTube to see what other testers had to say about this Atlas and if they were going to cover the complicated infotainment system and these issues, and hardly anybody mentioned it at all. They just glanced right over it. Being the shills they are, that's why you need to watch my channel and not theirs. Now moving on, this is one of the most important buttons you'll need to know, the mode. Press that. And again, we're at the info screen. Got Eco, Comfort, Sport, Custom, Off-Roading. This does have all-wheel drive. And Snow. Yes, this is a lot simpler to use. By the way, we have more infotainment type controls on the steering wheel. A whole menu of this stuff on the gauge cluster. Another learning curve for you. Took me about 3 days to figure this system out. Maybe you'll do it in shorter time. Again, some people like this stuff, so knock yourself out. Well, to begin with, this thing has lots and lots of room inside. This is one of the widest vehicles I've ever driven. I think someone told me it's like 6.5, 7 feet wide. I haven't measured it yet. It's wide, tall. You can fit a lot of stuff in here, even though there's only 2 rows of seats. They do have an Atlas with 3 rows of seats, but this is more than enough room for me. And look at all the room in the second row seats. Plenty of leg room, too. And of course the seats do fold down for more space to carry cargo in the rear. I will give credit where credit is due. They did a fantastic job on the cabin appearance. Quality workmanship and materials first rate. Hard to see because of all the glare we have at the moment. But everything is very, very nice. And again, the amount of room in the second row seating is just unreal. Nobody's going to be cramped in this rig. Let's take a peek under the hood and look at all the room we got in there. You can put a V12 in here, it'll have a lot of space. Now last year you had 2 engine choices, a 235 horsepower 4-cylinder with a 23 mpg average, or a 276 horsepower V6 with a 20 mpg average. Those are gone now. All you get is this new 4-cylinder, 269 horsepower, hooked to an 8-speed automatic with an average of 22 mpg. Just a bit more than the V6. A little more torque too. Now for the past 166 miles, this is what I've been getting. You can see through the glare here. 17.3 mpg. That included around 115 miles of highway driving. But keep in mind it was extremely hot that day, about 116 degrees, and well, some cars just don't work very well in extreme heat, especially if you're running the air conditioning. So we'll be taking a night trip soon on the highway, see if we can bump these numbers up a little bit. So don't go away. Alright, even though I don't like the infotainment system, I have no complaints about the way this thing drives. Steering's very quick and responsive. Feels a lot better than some of the other Volkswagens I've driven lately. The ride is very smooth, but keep in mind these are large 20-inch tires and they want you to put 36 pounds of air in them. If you lower them down to 32 pounds, the ride is a lot smoother, but I don't want to alter anything because they want to keep everything spec, so I'm running 36 pounds on each tire. So you do get some thumping and humping on bad pavement, but nothing to worry about. It's still a comfortable vehicle to drive. And being a German car, we get fantastic brakes, as we would expect. By the way, if you put this vehicle in sport mode, you get a high-performance exhaust sound. I'm told it's fake and is piped into the speakers. I really can't tell the difference on this one. It does sound an awful lot like the one on the Toyota Supra. But either way, I can't complain about the engine power on this motor. It's got a lot of grunt. Especially considering the hefty weight of this vehicle, very impressive. We're going to set the mileage computer to 0 and take a highway trip. See what kind of numbers we get. I can definitely say this is a great highway cruiser. Very smooth, very quiet. Nice driving position. Great for going long distances. You have all this interior room for all your buddies and luggage. Okay, we're in the next town now. Put about 115 miles. Alright, we're coming to the end of the trip. We'll pull over and see what the numbers are. Alright, previously I was getting around 21 mpg on the highway, but that was in some extreme heat, like 114, 116 degrees. As you can see, now we're down to 84 degrees. In our 114 mile trip, that is 24.8 mpg. Which is pretty close to what they were claiming. I think 26, was it? That's good enough. So what's my take on this Volkswagen after a week of driving? It's got a lot of good features. It's definitely attractive styling. The interior has lots and lots of room, more than about any other SUV I've ever driven, aside from a Hummer. The driving characteristics are excellent. Good acceleration, handling, braking. As far as that complicated infotainment system goes, well, some people like that. Other people, like me, prefer knobs. Either way, there is a learning curve for the operation of the system, and if you're going to buy the thing, keep it for 3 or 4 years, you have lots of time to figure it out, I suppose. Now, coming up is our night drive and headlight test. Just click and watch and subscribe.